Good morning, everyone. Just out of curiosity, how many architects do we have in the room? Okay, and engineers? All right, and the rest? Okay, all right. Just to get an idea, I'm an architect by profession. I started doing project work in South Africa, and then I moved to Dubai. I was exposed to the Middle East. But my passion has always lied with technology. I think if I could roll back time, I would probably study something like IT or programming or something like that. But you know, it is what it is. You can't roll back time. So when the pandemic hit, I was working for a company in Dubai, and they were downscaling because of the pandemic, and I had the opportunity to jump from an architectural role into more a technological role. So I took it, and then I did a master's in computational design in Barcelona after that. That kind of exposed me for the first time to generative design, and eventually AI. This was before ChatGPT was famous back in 2019, and that was my first exposure to AI, and everyone was in the masters was blown away by the possibilities, and it was very early. Like a lot of things have changed since then, and since then I've been working a lot of in the integration of AI, BIM, generative design, and all in between. Right, so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an overview today. I hope there are no experts yet, because if there are experts, you might get bored. But I was asked to stay, to start from the beginning, right? So I hope it's useful. It's just a few minutes, and I'm going to show a lot of videos so you guys get entertained and lose focus. So let's get going. So these are the points I'm going to touch today. So it's basically 4 points. Explaining what generative design is. You might hear a lot about generative AI at the moment. So I'm going to explain where that began with generative design and how AI plugs into generative design to make it better. I'm going to share a little bit of work I did in NEOM 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, and how AI agents are impacting BIM at the moment. You've probably heard about AI agents, a lot of us. So how is that going to impact our work? And what I can see, what the future will look like. I mean, nobody knows what the future will look like, but what I can see from my perspective and experience. So let's start with generative design. Here in the screenshot at the back, it's not that clear, but it was something we were working in the masters, which was optimizing the shape of a tower to get the most sunlight in a specific site. And it was done using Grasshopper and Rhino. This is very old stuff. It's been around for a while. And basically the definition of generative design is applying computational power to generate many options. Right? So you basically don't think much about the shape of architectural design-wise, the envelopes or something like that. You just throw a few parameters to the computer and ask the computer to generate millions of options for you, and evaluate those options based on certain fitness parameters like sun or window to wall ratio or shape or whatever you want, and you choose the best one and take it forward. You kind of develop. So there's no AI here, there's no trick. It's just a few mathematical equations that it has to start with a parametric model, because if you don't have a parametric model, the parameters that you plot through generative design won't do anything. So you need a bit of mathematics, but essentially there's no AI here. And this has been around for a while. As I say, I started doing this back in 2015, so a lot of things have changed. Can someone make this a bit tighter this morning? This is what generative design looks like from the point of view of computational power. So you kind of set the parameters, generate options, analyze results, and select a solution. And you get those kind of graphs. If someone has used generative design, you're probably familiar with those graphs. They seem very overpowering, and they might be a bit complicated to understand, but that's how you kind of pick the best solution with the best fitness parameters. This is using Grasshopper. This is how generative design looks like.
and on with our strategy.
Sorry, I don't know why that happened. Right.
Ready.
I think we're gonna have to watch a little bit of this. Sorry. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't get this. I think at some point we can skip it. Right, so what you can see here is a model that is kind of changing in the driven by parameters, and every option is being evaluated in terms of sunlight, and then you get the best outliers in terms of sunlight analysis and kind of select them, right? It looks a bit complicated, it's not that complicated, but anyway, this is using a plugin for Grasshopper called Wallace. Let's get back to full screen. The limitations of generative design. Sorry, how do I get full screen? The limitations of generative design are many because it's very time-consuming. It takes a while to set the parameters, to get the parameters to work together. Because if all the parameters in generative design go in one direction, there's no opposition, and then the plugin that tries to find the best option won't actually work, right? So you have to have opposing parameters. So it's difficult to get it right, and it's difficult to replicate. Like if you're in an office where you have pressures of deadlines and you have a lot of things going on at the same time, you can't really spend too much time trying to find an optimal shape using generative design, because it just takes too much computational power, too much time, and it might fail, right? So that's why generative design didn't take off as it was supposed to take off, 5 years ago. But then enter AI. So AI is the big enabler of generative design, and it's transforming what generative design looks to generative AI, right? Because AI is taking the bulk of the work. So it's creating the parameters, it's kind of optimizing the parameters for you, it's kind of helping you select the best option. It's doing a lot of the background work that used to take a lot of time, it's doing it for you, which is great. And there's many generative AI tools at the moment out there. A lot of them are demos, or they are not operational yet. And there's going to be we're going to be flooded with software packages that promise these kind of solutions, right? So it's difficult to pick and choose which ones are the best. I'm just going to show you my favorites, and they are by no means, it's not an exhaustive list, so you might know all the software that you're using that is not here, right? I hope this works. This is called Fetch. This is a Nordic startup that's been around for a while. It's not operational yet. But as you can see, it's like the Grasshopper script, but it's way simpler. You select the parameters from the start, and it kind of gives you a lot of options and selects the optimal one based on certain parameters. Right? That was very fast, but I'll show you the next one. This is not operational. As I say, it's still being developed. They got a lot of funding, but it's still ongoing. This one is one of my favorites. I think it's a very strong course, and it might solve a lot of the problems. Let's say, coming from conceptual design to a BIM model, right? Schema. So the founder of Schema I met him in London in June, and he's one of the original programmers of Autodesk Revit. So before Revit was bought by Autodesk, this guy was in it, right? So he knows what the problems with Revit are, with Revit is, and he wants to solve them, right? So Schema takes the envelope of the early design model and creates a BIM model out of that, right? But it learns from, and this is the AI part, it learns from the library of your projects. So let's say you have a projects in your firm that has certain apartment types. Schema reads those projects and creates a library that is kind of invisible to you in a way, and then uses that library to populate the early stage model into a fully BIM model. In minutes. I apologize for that. on the scope schedule, and then you kind of give your a few indications of your departments, and these are from your models. And you can change them, you can adapt and change the shape as well. And this is real time, so it's not accelerating or anything, this is the way it works. Wasn't on the library, but it kind of understood the concept and applied it. And then you export it to Revit. So yeah, that's a schema. I think it's very promising. As I say, it doesn't generate blueprints automatically, but it kind of shortcuts the process from taking a SketchUp model, for example, to Revit. And this one's very promising as well. It's being tested in the UK at the moment. It's based in Tel Aviv. They have a lot of money behind it. And this is different from Schema because this one actually does the blueprint part, right? So it takes a Revit model that's already done, and it generates the plans, sections, elevations, etc. So let me show you a video.
Introduction for a new software solution for architects. SWAP is revolutionizing the way architects design buildings. Architects spend endless hours creating construction documents, and SWAP delivers accurate and detailed architectural documents from Revit in record time using AI. As an architect, I know that creating accurate, detailed and complete construction documents and BIM models is crucial for the success of projects. But the process can be time-consuming, tedious and prone to errors. SWAP is a software that applies intelligent, advanced algorithms to deliver accurate, detailed and complete architectural construction documents and BIM models faster than ever before. With SWAP, you can automate repetitive tasks, reduce errors and save hours of manual work. You can also customize your document templates, collaborate with your team in real time and access your documents from anywhere on any device. No way. SWAP is the ultimate solution for architects who want to streamline their workflow and deliver high-quality documents and building information models in less time. So if you're ready to take your architectural projects to the next level, sign up for SWAP today.
Right, so that was SWAP. You can contact them. It might be interesting collaborating with you if you are interested, because they've been looking for pilot projects outside the UK. This is a project from the Masters from a friend of mine that we studied together. I wasn't involved in it, but it became a product on its own. So it received funding, and it's basically a design tool to generate apartment layouts using text. So you tell the application, I need an apartment layout of 2 bedrooms with these characteristics, and it kind of generates a conceptual plan, and you can move it around, and then eventually creates the model. This is not operational yet, but it looks it's very simple. Let's just speak about Neon for a second. You're probably familiar with the line. The line is built in there. Right now, it's kind of very controversial because it's been going through a lot of budget cuts. So I'm not sure if it's still happening, but when I was involved, we were tasked to shortcut the design process to help them deliver apartments. They need like excess of 1 million design units quickly, in a period of weeks, and fully documented. So we were tasked to create an online platform that will help architects working in the land deliver residential units quicker, right? So I'm not going to go too much into detail because the video is quite good, so let me show you this.
These design homes for 9 we don't do this with the application. Or these crucial stages of private design actually improve efficiency, ingenuity.
We were working on this for a year, more or less.
It's a beautiful product and usable assets. They can design stored in product libraries as digital models can be used and customized as needed. But what does it actually mean? It all starts with a simple, flexible gel block. This gel block represents the product and can fit into any position within the building, be it in a corner, straight, up-shaped, across 2 floors, or however necessary. where the magic happens. Using computational AI intelligence, the job blocks fit together like a mega-sized game of Tetris, generating thousands of neighborhood configurations that comply with build constraints within seconds. We can configure each product in a wide variety of ways, enabling mass customization and an industrialized production process simplifying the supply chain. We've even got an interior configurator that immerses you right into the virtual design so realistic design decisions can be made. Frequent iterations which normally take weeks can be done within hours. And to complete the process, detailed designs replace the job blocks, taking into account the final size and building specifications. Thanks to automation, technical drawings and building schedules are automatically generated by the configurator and sent off to manufacturers, making each step of the process easier and faster than before. This level of automation reduces manual design, delivery times and manufacturing costs, while maximizing the value for different future target segments. Pretty impressive, right? Not only is this the first major milestone towards an AI-driven design for the line, real estate productization is a major step forward towards delivering NEOM in a smarter, greener, and more efficient way.
Right, so just go back to the presentation. So we were working with a team in London that was bringing all the software developers to do this happen with an architectural 3 minutes. So it went. It was like a minimal viable product, so it wasn't fully operational. But the concept was great. The client actually liked it, but eventually it was cut because of budget constraints. They thought they didn't have the time to develop such a tool. It was taking too long. So it just started stop in a proof of concept, let's say, stage, right? But I think the idea behind it is great, and I think it's going to become very, very feasible to have something like that in the near future. So you might think, how does this apply to us? I mean, we're not NEOM. We're not building mega projects. We're working in the Irish market. So just going to show you what I think might be the future for us. So AI agents, right? AI agents, you're probably hearing a lot about them. They are still being integrated into our solutions. So AI agents basically are automated AI models that you give them approval basically to operate on your behalf without you having to interact with them. Right? So they go and do the thing. So this for BIM is still very early stages, but I did a quick test of using one of these AI agents to analyze a Revit model. I'm just going to show you the video. It's very short. Sorry. I think it's the way to do it. There we go. So here, this is a Claude, which is basically like ChatGPT interacting with the Revit model. And I'm asking Claude to give me all the windows in the model and analyze what type of windows we have in this building, right? And the responses are super interesting because Claude gives me not only a schedule of the windows, but it tells me some concepts which are the parameters of the windows, and why are these windows like that, and where are the biggest windows. And this is very basic. Let's say interaction with the LLM, with Claude, but he's checking constantly the model and he's able to modify the model. So at this point, I told him to color the windows in different types of windows with different colors, and he just did it in the model. Right? So as I say, this is the future, because imagine not having to learn Revit and being able to operate Revit with a conversational interface, right? So all this training that we've been doing is going to fall apart in 3-4 years, because you'll suddenly have an interface that anyone can use to model a building or to design or to check information for Revit. So this is coming big, and it's going to be way more developed in it. I mean, even using voice, right? Voice commands. Future trends. I was hearing this yesterday night, and I had to update my presentation because 1 minute at most. I was hearing a podcast about this app called Bolt, and I'm just going to show you how quickly it is to create a fully deployed product. So I'm asking Bolt this is my video, right? To make a copy of Spotify. You know Spotify? So I had to create an account with Bolt. So I'm just creating an account, and then I go back to Bolt starts doing all the steps to create a copy of Spotify. You know, Spotify is like a good app, right? And this app can be, look how long it's taking, like it takes like a minute or two. And this app can be deployed on the web. And it will work with Spotify. Obviously, you need all the data, right? The music and everything like that. But I just want to show you like the end product is amazing. So what this means is like people are going to be creating custom software solutions so quickly with a reduced cost that it's just going to enable firms and construction companies and engineers to create software solutions that adapt to their needs very, very quickly. Right? So that's what it looks like, and you can click on stuff. And so how impressive is this? Imagine you ask him to create a copy of Word, you know, and then suddenly you don't have to pay for it. Anyway, yeah, I'm finished. Just so the future is quite exciting. I think just to recap is AI amplifies generative design, which is makes it very useful. AI agents are coming, are going to transform the way we work. How? It's still a mystery. I mean, what's going to happen to our jobs? We don't know. But architects will remain central because you still need the decision makers, right? So I thought there were more architects here, so I apologize for that. And just thank you very much. And I have a group of people that get together in pubs to talk about AI. So if you're interested, just kind of hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.